Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are on to another makeup tutorial, and I'm just going to show you all how I was able to achieve this makeup look today. Here with me is Nancy. If you're watching me for the first time, my name is Lizzie. You're welcome to this channel. So the first thing I did was to use face wipe to wipe off the dirt from her face, just to give it a very clean and nice feel and also a clean look. Thereafter, I went in with face primer, and this face primer that I am using is from Flawless Ivy, a Nigerian brand. So I'm just going to massage that into her skin properly, just so that the makeup can last for a long time. Moving on, I'm using this beauty blender from Zikel Cosmetics, and I'm just going to pick up my foundation, which is from Chic Cosmetics, and just apply that into her skin. So I'll be dropping the shades in the description box below so that you guys can know what shades that I am using. But right now I'll just be calling the names of the brands that I used in this video. So I'm just going to apply that onto her skin, and if you check this video properly, you discover that I'm not dragging the foundation. I'm just tapping all over, so that the makeup can last long and so that it doesn't give you harsh lines on her face. So moving on, I'm going to highlight her face using this Adventure Cosmetics concealer, and I'm just going to go in with a concealer that is about 2 tones lighter than that of her skin tone, and I'll apply that on these areas which you can see me apply it, and these are her T-zone areas. So I'm just going to do this underneath her eyes, her jaw, her forehead, and at the middle of her nose, just to give it a pointed look. So like I said, if you're doing this, make sure that you're tapping the foundation on her skin and you are not dragging. So at this point guys, I'm going to pick up this lip palette from Chic Cosmetics, and I'm just going to go in with an orange shade on her blush area, just to give it a more subtle and natural look. And you need to make use of your beauty blender a lot while doing this. It has to be your best friend because you want a clean and a smooth and a clean work. So I'm going to pick up the palette again, and I'm just going to go in with a pink shade so that it will be more pigmented and so that it will be properly defined. I want it to come out better, and I'm just going to tap that into her skin. I'm just tapping and tapping and tapping. So I'll move over to the other side of her face and just repeat the same process. I'm going to go in with an orange shade first because I want a more subtle look, and after doing that I'll pick up the pink shade also and apply that and blend very well because I want it to come out nice. So you need to blend, and then blend from her cheek also towards her forehead area so that it will give you a more natural look and so that it looks more like her skin tone on her neck area. So blend towards her forehead too. So I'm just going to keep blending and blending until it looks good. So once I'm done, I'm going to apply the pink shade of blush. I'm just going to mix it with the orange and apply that on the bridge of her nose, the way you can see me, to just to give it a more subtle and natural glam. So right now I want the cheekbone to pop more. So I'm going to pick up this eyeshadow palette from Violet Vase Cosmetics, and I'm just going to go in with an orange shade on her cheekbone. You can see how beautiful that is already coming out, and I'm just going to move over to her forehead also, not too much, just something a little bit light so that it can look very, very, very beautiful also. And I'll just apply that on the bridge of her nose. So at this point, I'll pick up my powder palette, which is from Cheek Cosmetics also, and I'm just going to apply that on the areas where I initially highlighted using concealer. So in order to define her face properly, I'm just going to go in with that powder underneath her cheekbone, which is under the contour area, and I'm going to do that on the left hand side of her face and also on the right hand side of her face. So I'm just going to give it a properly defined look right there. Just make sure that the contour pops properly by applying the powder just underneath the cheekbone to give it a more defined look. So I'm also going to highlight the tip of her nose just like this with a lighter shade of powder, and then I'm going to set using this setting powder available in the Cheek Cosmetics powder palette, and I'm just going to highlight underneath her cheekbone so that it pops, so that it is more defined, and then highlight the underneath her eyes, her jaw and her forehead. As simple as that. So right now for the brows, I'm going to pick up this brow gel from Carite, and I'm just going to use these brushes from Flawless Ivy. Throughout this whole video, I used brushes from Flawless Ivy Cosmetics, and I'm just going to line underneath her brow using the brow gel, and then do the same at the top of her brow like this. I'm just going to connect that line, the top of the brow, to the one underneath, and then brush it up using a spoolie. So right now I'm going to go in with a black pencil, and I'm just going to quickly give strokes in the areas where it looks as if her hairs there are sparse. I'm just going to quickly give light strokes. Make sure that the tip of your pencil is as pointed as possible, and make sure that you are giving light strokes so that the brows do not look too dark. And after doing this, I went in with a brown brow pencil just to make that place make the strokes look more subtle. So I'm going to conceal using this LA Girl Pro concealer that is about 2 tones lighter than that of her skin tone. Make sure that you are as careful as possible so that you do not end up removing all what you've done, like erasing the whole strokes, the whole brows that you've done. So you need to make sure that you're as careful as possible. And I'm going to drag that concealer down towards the lid, and I'm just going to blend that so that it doesn't crease. So I'm quickly also going to do the same thing at the other side of her brow, and then I'm also going to conceal the top of her brow using the same shade of concealer. What you need to make sure that you do is to blend properly so that everything comes out nice and so that it looks natural. So at this point, I'm going to move over to her eyes, and then I'm going to quickly apply that same concealer again so that the shadows that I use would pop. And for her shadows, I'm using this Violet Vase eyeshadow palette, and I'm going in with a pinkish orange shade. You can see that it is subtle, it is not too harsh, and I'm blending it on her transition area. So after doing that, I'm quickly going to pick up a gold shade, and this is from Zaron Cosmetics, and I'm just applying that on the inner corners of her crease area. So from Zaron Cosmetics still, I'm going to use a brown shade just to blend the outer corner of her crease area properly, and so that it looks more defined. So I'll do the same thing on the other side of her eyes. So you need to make sure that you blend properly, because as you know already, blending is key and you really want a clean and a nice job. So take your time to achieve something beautiful. So for the brows, I'm going to use a lighter shade of powder, about 3 tones lighter than that of her skin tone, just to define the brows properly, because the way it looks at this point, it looks boring. So I'm just going to go in with a lighter shade of powder to highlight and to define it properly. You can see how nice they are looking at this point. So right now, guys, I'm going to go in with a darker shade of shadow just to define that area. And at this point, I'm wiping off the excess powder that she has on her highlight zone, and I'm just wiping it off using her shade of powder so that it looks natural and nice. So moving on to the eyes, I'm going in with this brow gel again from Carite Cosmetics, and this is the black shade, and I'm going to line the top of her lid the way you can see me do, from the outer corner into the inner corner of her lid. Underneath her eyes, I'll go in with the gold shade that I had used at the top of her lid, and I'm going to blend that properly using a pink shade just towards the outer corner of her waterline area. So just to chip in, guys, you have not done anything until you apply that mascara. I love to apply mascara a lot so that the makeup can come out nice and so that her face can actually glow. You can see it properly defined. So I'm using this mascara from Kiss Beauty to pick up the hairs underneath her eyes. So moving on, for her lips, I'm going to go in with this brown shade of Lippy, and I'll be applying this at the top of her lip and also at the lower part of her lip, and then blend that properly. And I'll be going in with this brown shade also from Classic Cosmetics, and I'm just going to apply that again in the area where I had applied the previous shade, and then blend properly. Using my Cheek Cosmetics palette, lip palette, I'm going to go in with this nude shade and then blend properly also so that it comes out nice. And then after blending, I'll pick up this purple shade from Classic Cosmetics also, and then blend that in the inner corner of her lip, and then ask her to rub her lips against each other so that it will be properly blended and nice. And that was what I did, and it actually came out really beautiful. So I'm going to also go in with a transparent lip gloss so that it can be glossy and so that the makeup can come out better. I'm actually a gloss kind of girl, so I prefer my work to come out more defined and glossy anyways, and that was what I did, and I was not disappointed at all. So at this point, after applying the gloss all over her lips, I'm going to move over to her cheekbones just to highlight the both sides of her cheekbones so that the makeup can actually pop. So I'm quickly going to pick up my highlights brush from Flawless Ivy, and I'm just going to highlight underneath her brows and also her cheeks, just to highlight that area so that it can pop. So guys, please do not also forget to highlight the jaw and the forehead. And what I'm using for highlighting is this gold shade of shadow from Zaron Cosmetics. I actually do improvise a lot, which also helps me a lot. So I'm going in with this gold shade of shadow from Zaron Cosmetics to highlight the tip of her nose, her jaw, her cheeks, and everything's just so that it can come out really, really nice. So I'm going to go in with falsies and then spray her face using this Kiss Beauty setting spray. So I couldn't find the clip where I had used setting spray, but what I used was Kiss Beauty. And at this point, I'm just going to lay her edges and then style her hair. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope that it has been helpful. If it has, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like, share, and also comment in the comment section. If there is any question you want to ask, please do ask your questions in the comment section, and I'll be there for you all to answer your questions. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.